Stop. There is a 95-year-old man in Omaha, Nebraska, who still lives in the same house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. He eats breakfast at McDonald's. He drinks 5 Cokes a day. And he is worth roughly $150 billion. Here is the strange part. If you walked up to Warren Buffett today and asked him what to do with your $10,000, he would give you an answer that contradicts almost everything he personally did to become Warren Buffett, the greatest stock picker in human history. Will tell you with a completely straight face not to pick stocks. And then in the same breath, he would tell you that if he had your $10,000 instead of his hundreds of billions, he could earn returns that would make Wall Street's best hedge funds look like amateurs. Both statements are true. And understanding why they are both true is worth more than any stock tip you will ever get. Stick with me for 10 minutes. Here are Warren Buffett's 2 answers. And one of them belongs to you. In his 2013 shareholder letter, Warren Buffett told the world what instructions he left for his wife's money. Quote, put 10% of the cash in short-term government bonds and 90% in a very low-cost S&P 500 index fund. I suggest Vanguard's. That is it. That is the whole strategy. The man who built a $1 trillion company through legendary stock picking looked at the question of how to invest money for the person he loves most. And his answer was the most boring product in finance: an index fund. In 2008, Buffett made a $500,000 bet with a hedge fund firm called Protégé Partners. The bet was simple. Over 10 years, a plain Vanguard S&P 500 index fund would beat a hand-picked basket of 5 hedge funds of funds, the smartest money managers in the world, charging premium fees with armies of analysts, versus a fund that does literally nothing but own 500 companies and go to sleep. 10 years later, the do-nothing fund returned 125.8%. The hedge funds averaged 2.2% per year. One of them did so badly it returned 2.8% over the entire decade. 1 million in the hedge funds grew to about 1.2 million. The same 1 million in the index fund grew to 1.85 million. It was the financial equivalent of bringing a Formula One pit crew to a race and getting lapped by a guy in a Camry on cruise control. Buffett said directly, "I do not think the average person can pick stocks." He is not being condescending. He is telling you that the professionals, the people whose entire job is picking stocks, cannot reliably do it either. After fees, the index is not the participation trophy. The index is the trophy. Before Buffett would put a single dollar of your $10,000 into anything, he would ask you one question, and your answer might end the conversation immediately. Do you have credit card debt? At the 2020 annual meeting, a woman asked him how to invest, and his answer had nothing to do with stocks. Quote, "If I owed any money at 18%, the first thing I would do with any money I had would be to pay it off. It is going to be way better than any investment idea I have got." Then he added the line, "That should be tattooed on every credit card ever printed. I do not know how to make 18%. Sit with that." The man who compounded money at roughly 20% per year for 60 years, the best sustained track record in recorded history, is telling you that he cannot reliably beat your credit card's interest rate. Paying off a card charging 24% April is a guaranteed, risk-free, tax-free return of 24%. There is no stock, no fund, no crypto coin, No real estate course sold from a rented Lamborghini that offers that. If part of your $10,000 is sitting next to a credit card balance, Buffett's answer is brutally simple. The debt eats first. In 2026, boring cash finally pays. High-yield savings accounts are paying 4 to 5% right now. Short-term treasury bills are in the same neighborhood. For the first time in almost 2 decades, the responsible adult portion of your money is not just sitting there losing to inflation. It is working. Debts handled. Emergency fund parked. Now the $10,000 goes 90% into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund, 10% into short-term treasuries. Per the man's best own will. $10,000 in an index fund. That is it? That is the secret from the greatest investor alive? The S&P 500 has returned about 10% per year on average over the long run. At that rate, your 10,000 becomes roughly 26,000 in 10 years. $67,000 in 20. $174,000 in 30. And about $452,000 in 40 years. Almost $500,000 from $10,000. And the total effort involved was clicking buy once and then living your life. There is a research firm called Dalbar that measures the gap between what funds return and what investors in those funds actually earn. In 2024, the S&P 500 returned just over 25%. The average equity fund investor earned 16.5%. 8.5 percentage points. Lost to buying high, panic selling low, and trying to be clever. Investors have underperformed the very funds they own for 15 straight years. If you had put $10,000 in the S&P 500 in 2005 and just left it alone, by the end of 2024, you would have about $71,750. If you missed only the 10 best days in that entire 20-year stretch, 10 days, you would have $32,871. Less than half. 7 of those 10 best days happen within 2 weeks of the 10 worst days. The people who sold during the scary part miss the recovery part, because the market's best days hide right next to its worst ones, like they are carpooling. And fees. $10,000 growing for 30 years. In a fund charging 0.03%, big S&P index funds, versus the same fund charging 1%. Actively managed mutual funds. The difference is roughly $18,000. Nearly twice your original investment. Gone for the privilege of paying someone to underperform. In 1999, a Businessweek reporter asked him about his own early returns. Buffett said something that the index fund crowd conveniently never quotes. Quote, "It is a huge structural advantage not to have a lot of money. I think I could make you 50% a year on $1 million. No. I know I could. I guarantee that. 50% per year. Guaranteed." His words, not mine. At age 20, he discovered a little insurance company called Geico. Found out a Graham connection sat on its board, and took a train to Washington, D.C. On a Saturday. The building was locked. He banged on the door until a janitor let him in. Found the only executive working that weekend, and interrogated the poor man about insurance economics for 4 hours. Then he put $10,282 into the stock, about 2/3 of everything he had at age 20, and made roughly 50% in a year. In his 20s, he sat in a room and turned every single page of the Moody's S manual. 20,000 pages of tiny print. Listen to his words from 2024. You have to be in love with the subject. You cannot just be in love with the money and the temperament. To bet 2/3 of your net worth on a Saturday train ride. Today, Berkshire Hathaway is sitting on $397 billion in cash and treasury bills. When you are that big, the tiny mispriced stuff is useless to you. If Buffett found one of his old 1950s specials today, some $50 million company trading at one-time earnings, and it went up tenfold, it would move Berkshire's S needle by a rounding error. He wrote it himself in his 2024 letter. We have no possibility of eye-popping performance. Every company big enough to matter to Berkshire has been, in his words, endlessly picked over. The Shiller-Cape ratio, a measure of how expensive stocks are relative to a decade of earnings, is sitting at 40.7, the second highest reading in 140 years of data. The only time it was higher was the peak of the dot-com bubble, and Berkshire's response is to sit on the largest cash pile in history, sell down old positions, and deploy only reluctantly. When Buffett was asked about it on CNBC in May, he said, "It is not an ideal environment for deploying cash." Translation from Omaha speak. Everything is expensive. We are waiting. The 50% answer requires what young Buffett actually had. Thousands of hours reading financial statements for fun. A genuine obsession. And the temperament to bet 2/3 of your net worth on a Saturday train ride. If reading 10,000 pages of filing sounds like a dream weekend to you, the small investor advantage is real. It is structural. And Buffett himself is on record envying you for it. But be honest with yourself. Because Buffett is honest about you. He does not think the average person can pick stocks. And the average person includes almost everyone watching this. Statistically, including me. That is not an insult. You presumably have a job, a life, maybe kids, hobbies that do not involve Moody's S manuals. For you, the index answer is not the consolation prize. It is the answer he trusts with his own family's money over every hedge fund on earth. Here is the whole video in one breath. Kill any 18% debt first, even Buffett cannot beat it. Park a real emergency fund in a savings account. That finally pays you. Put the rest in a low-cost S&P 500 index fund, 90/10. Keep adding every month. And then do the hardest thing in finance. Nothing. Ever. If you need one final reason to trust the boring path, the median American household has about $8,000 in the bank. If you have $10,000 to invest, you are not behind. You are at the starting line, with a map drawn by the best. Whoever did it? A man worth $150 billion. Who watched his own stock get cut in half 3 separate times and never sold. Use some of his final words as CEO to tell shareholders the same thing. He would tell you, America will come back. The math does not need you to be brilliant. It just needs you to stay. Here is what you will do right now. 1. Hit subscribe. Because the algorithm will not show you the next video if you do not. 2. Check tonight if you have credit card debt. If you do, make a plan. 3. Set up an automatic payment into an index fund. Right now. 10 minutes. 4. Send this video to one person who says, I need something smarter. Tell them. The smartest guy in history said to be boring. Because Warren Buffett did not know. Young Buffett knew. Now you know. See you in the next video.